Well, I just saw the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 trailer, and I got to tell you that as a retired pilot, lifelong pilot, who takes flight simulation seriously and looks at it as a way to train, I'm feeling quite betrayed right now. The question whether the future of Microsoft Flight Simulator is a game or a simulator seems to have been resolved by Microsoft with this trailer. I've had great hopes that Microsoft Flight Simulator could evolve into something that would be viable as a training solution. The graphics are just so good, and there's so many things to like about it. So I've tried to overlook things like the music and graphics at startup and the game-like user interface. But what I can't overlook are things like obstacles that are in taxiways, mislabeled taxiways, buildings and trees that extend into the glide path, and the ability to set accurate visibility and RVR values for approaches. And these are just a few of the things needed to make Microsoft Flight Simulator viable as a training solution. Well, it seems that Microsoft has made up their mind and they're going to chase their bucks and go for the mass audience, and that's gamers, and I can't blame them for that. But I do feel betrayed because they did tell us that for 10 years they were going to improve this sim and support aviation enthusiasts, pilots, and home cockpit builders. I'm sure the fantasy role-playing aspect will be attractive to many gamers, but for serious aviation enthusiasts like pilots and the kind of guys who fly PMDG, this is just not going to hack it, and they may have to return to P3D or X-Plane. The fact that Microsoft and MSOBO are moving off in such a radical new direction when their original product is so far from being complete, it's just an indication they're driven by profits and not love for aviation. It also means that they'll discontinue Microsoft Flight Simulator at some point in the future if it's not creating a profit for them. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. It just makes you question their original commitment. So as the biblical text says, it's tough to serve two masters. So we'll see if Microsoft is able to continue to support Microsoft Flight Simulator in the future, committing to apply every improvement in the flying part of the new simulator to the old simulator, and not just churn us every 4 years for more money. I think their ultimate goal is to have us all have Game Pass and pay forever. As you may remember, I was an X-Plane fanboy and very skeptical of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 when it first arrived. But slowly but surely I've been won over to many of its fine features, just explaining away its deficiencies that at some day they would be fixed. Now I'm starting to wonder about that. It remains up to Microsoft and MSOBO to show us where this simulator is going in the future, and if it's ever going to be a viable training solution and not just a game. I'm sure many of you will disagree with me. I'd love to hear your comments. I think I have an open mind and I'm always willing to listen. This is just my initial gut reaction. Tell me why I'm wrong.